Okay, today I'm going to make a drawing of this, a 3-view drawing of my device. But to start with, I know that my drawing needs to have dimensions on it. So in order to make a neat drawing, I need to plan ahead. If I put any old, if I position my views and I pick any old scale, I could end up with views that are way far apart, or dimensions that are all jammed together, or all kinds of issues that are less than optimal. What I'm trying for here, what I'll be drawing on this piece of paper, is a sketch that helps me figure out exactly what scale to use for the drawing and where to put those dimensions around those views, front view, top view, and right side view. Now, of course, looking at this object right here, I would suggest that my front view is going to be from this perspective, this vantage point, right? Because the front view should show the most information. And when I draw it, when I draw the 3-view drawing, I'm probably not going to include every single tick mark on here. I think what I can do is draw maybe 5 or 10 degrees of marks and some of the vernier scale, and kind of make a note that it continues for 45 degrees and so on, like that, right? But the idea then is for me to get a good sketch down on the piece of paper and figure out how many dimension lines I need and where to put them and so on, right? So I have a nice big piece of paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and start by, let's set the camera on the tripod now, and I'll go ahead and start by sketching the 3-view drawing first. Okay, that looks pretty good. I can zoom in just a little bit maybe. All right. So here we go. I'll take a pencil and say my front view is basically, to start with, it's a couple of rectangles, right? Big rectangle here. Like that. And then this base you see as an edge view would be an edge view right here on the object. Right, looking at the object for a second, you can see, and I'm going to just draw this as a couple lines separated, by a little bit, to show where the base of it is. And notice that the base doesn't, in this case, the base doesn't go all the way over. It kind of goes like this, just a little bit over there, right? And of course, when I go to draw this for real, I'm going to be more concerned with getting the scale just right, and the measurements and everything, and all the lines nice and straight. Stuff like this is just a sketch for now, right? We'll do like that. Okay, for that piece. And then somewhere on here, I'm going to need a curve like this. Right, for the, hopefully you can see that. I've got a curve there for where the two pieces are separated, right? And somewhere right about here is the pivot, bolt that's going to be in the middle. Okay, now my top view, I may need some more paper here. Luckily, I have some more paper to work with. The top view is going to be like this, project up. That. It's pretty big. And then looking down from the top, there'll be like this. Right. Okay. Here. Now these are a little bit, for the moment, I'm making these kind of fat, just so I can see that I've got all the pieces and parts. When I draw it for real, I'm going to scale these down to be much closer to the actual, proportion that exists, in real life. Okay. We'll need to include the bolts here somehow. Bolts there for the leveling feet, right? And there'll be a bolt here going through like that, right? And from the also we can see here the two pieces of pipe. Now I know that these should line up perfectly over top of each other and everything, but they're not going to do that just yet because it's a sketch. But you can get an idea how we're doing here, right? I hope you can see some of that stuff. Okay. And then our right side view, you might as well turn this. Okay, the right side view, be looking at it this way. Wow. Okay, I'll move it over here so you can see it. No, I'm not doing very well, am I? Okay. The right side view will be looking at this side, so this will be a thin view. They'll have the circle. The site will appear as a circle, right? And this piece over here that braces the vertical piece in place. Okay, so I'm going to say it'll look like that. So it'll go like this. Right side view. Again, we'll have the bolts coming through here. Right, oh, that should be the same height as that, shouldn't it? Like this. Okay. How's that look? Oh, now we need the pipe here. Pipe right here. Right. And we'll need the string on here for the leveling device. There'll be a string here for the leveling device. Right. Now, one of the things that, as we've talked about in our previous drawings and stuff, you're going to be able to pretend that everything is perfectly straight and accurate and neat and so on. So any little things here, I'm actually going to leave out when I draw this. I'm going to leave out the duct tape that I ended up adding onto it. I'm going to just let myself believe that that had this been a piece of wood, that this hot glue would have been fine to hold on the little pipes instead of me having to add on big ugly pieces of duct tape here. I'm just going to leave those out. Right? Okay. So now. We have to figure out exactly how much to dimension things and how we can call out those features on the drawing. So take a look here. We have a pretty rough sketch here, but we can see the three views of the object, right? And so I need to then think about how do I show these these sizes, okay? And I'm going to say like this. I'll have a dimension here. In this case, I'm going to do it like this. All right, let's say this here is a certain size, and this is a certain size. And I'm not going to be super neat with these dimensions right now, because my objective right at the moment is just to figure out exactly where I'm going to put the dimensions, right? And how much space they're going to take up, and all that kind of stuff, right? So, do something like this here. Like that. Okay. You see what we have so far now. I've got dimensions there that show the overall width of the height of the object. I can go ahead and do, I think what I'll do is, let's see. Yeah, I can put this dimension over here to show the height, like that. And I would also go to the center line of the pipe. Okay, instead of trying to go to the edge of it, I'm going to do a dimension to the center line of the height above the pipe, right? And here, that little space right in there is going to be too small to put in arrowheads and write a number in there. So I'll have arrowheads on the outside, and then I'll just do a little thing like this to say that's, say, 1/4 of an inch. You know, just add a number right there. That looks pretty hard to see, but you'll have to believe me about that for the time being. Okay. Now, interestingly, you can also see, I'm going to take the camera off for a second, what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so in the device, we'll obviously need a big dimension to tell us the radius of that big curve. Right there, that's an arc, right, on the thing. And I'm going to have to go to either the top view or the right side view to show how the big part here is positioned in relation to the base, right? The front view doesn't allow us to say that, other than here we can see how this piece doesn't fit exactly at the edge there, and it hangs over a little over on this side. So I'm including that in my drawing. I'm showing this dimension here, and somewhere I'll show that dimension there, right? That little space right there. Okay, and then probably the top view would be a good place to show how this this distance here of the base, the big width of the base here, the positioning of the screws, and the position of this vertical piece right here on that base. So going across the base here and going here. This distance here we've already shown in the front view, so we don't need to repeat that, right? And the right side view will be a really good place to talk about the dimensions of this part right here. Okay, so I'm going to stop the tape for a minute and do some of this drawing, and then come back and look at it again. Well, let's take a look now. We'll take a look at the device itself a little bit, get an idea what it looks like, right? With the big pivot in the middle and the sight tubes on either side of that. We have the huge curve, right there. That's about a 1 foot radius curve, right? Arc, 1 foot radius arc, going like that. Okay. And we need to know, we'll definitely need to know where this center is located, right? And we'll take a look here now at the paper, and we see some of these sizes I put on here earlier, you know, basic dimensions this way and this way, and here I'm calling out that 12-inch radius, okay? Kind of how this upper part is positioned on the bottom part, right there. And the same thing here, showing how this is showing the dimensions of this brace piece here, and I think that's all I put in the right side view. The top view has a lot of information, the overall dimension this way, and the dimension here. I need to I haven't put in anything for the overall dimension this direction, have I? No. That'd probably be given the amount of stuff I've already put on the top view, it'd probably be a good idea to put this dimension here on the right side view. That's a good place to put it, right? Sorry. Okay, now you can see it's right here. Right? So as I get ready to draw this, right, and put it on that small piece of paper, I have to think about what scale I need to pick so that these views can be as big as possible, yet still fit on the paper. Right now I've used an oversized piece of paper just for convenience, but eventually I've got to draw it on that small piece of paper in the packet. So these are going to have to be pretty small, right? And to leave enough room for, this line of dimensions here. This is going to come up, about 3/8 of an inch from the body of the object there, and this is going to be sticking out about 3/8 of an inch this way. This one, of course, we need a little space on the bottom. Well, but need that for both of these, so that'll work out fine. And a little space on the side for this dimension here. And so all those need to be added to the overall size of the object. When you say, oh, well, my top view needs to be, say if this is, if we look at the thing and we say maybe it's 24 inches across the bottom, right? Then we scale that to be, say 1 inch equals 1 inch on the paper equals, say, 6 inches in real life, or 12 inches in real life. Then how much space does that take up? And we actually need this extra space here at the top for these things, for the dimension lines there, dimension lines here, and so on. Okay, so this is the general idea of what I want you to be working on to plan your 3-view drawing. I know that it'd be easier to put it on a computer and have the computer do all this for you, but for this activity, I want you to do this, this problem solving yourself, as well as using a ruler and a pencil to draw this stuff. And you can see it doesn't have to be neat when you do the sketch. I'm going to want to see this sketch that you do, but it doesn't have to be beautiful. It's just got to be practical. It's like it shows me the features, it shows me where I'm putting the dimension lines, and so on. And then it helps me be ready to come back later and draw it neatly once I know exactly how big to make everything.